Well, okay then. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Asmagon, and today, oh boy, there's been a lot of excitement over the last 48 hours. 24 to 48 hours. So, as those who have been paying attention to the channel, watching the videos and watching the live streams will no doubt be aware, just recently, GW, Warhammer Official, made female custodies canon. And initially there was a lot of conversation and confrontation about, like, oh, well, is this actually canon? Is this actually a thing? Is this a mistranslation? Is this a typo? Is this just an author going rogue? Is it actually Sisters of Silence just being referred to as custodies? A lot of discussion has been being had around this topic of conversation, and I myself have had a lot of really constructive conversation, and I've had some not so constructive conversation. But regardless, today, GW has been responding to people on their posts here, green or gold, in referring to some updates and stuff that are coming for Custodians and Orcs. And people blatantly just straight up ask them, why did you nerf the Custodians, and why are female Custodians a thing now? Why retcon them in? And GW goes right to gaslighting. They skip the normal steps. They usually go for, like, denial and then, like, shifting the topic, and then they go for gaslighting. But no, they skipped, like, step 1 and step 2 to go right to step 3. Right into gaslighting. And the Warhammer official Twitter account says, in regards to female custodians, there have always been female custodians since the first of the 10,000 were created. And I myself responded to this by pointing out, they're lying. Like, straight up, blatantly lying. Lying to the extent that it could be easily fact-checked by anyone with a pre-existing codex or any of the books made before the last 48 hours. Like, you feel free to go look in all the previous novelizations and comics that are Games Workshop and Black Library official, and I encourage you to find one single mention of a female Custodes. Not a Sisters of Silence being called one, not SOS being referred to alongside Custodians. No, a woman, lady Custodes. I want you to find a single one made, like, in any of the novelizations made pre even 9th edition. You won't find it, because it didn't exist until just now. This is a pure and simple retcon. And the fact that they're not acknowledging that, and they're going to the extent of lying, again, blatantly lying to their community, and gaslighting, and saying, oh, well, they were always there. Really? If that's the case, why have there been no mention of them? Why do we have no pre-existing female characters within the Custodians? Why do we have no examples of this? Why are there no stories mentioning them? Why is there no prior reference to them whatsoever? Please, tell me, GW. If they've always been there, why have you never once showcased or mentioned them before now? It's because they didn't exist till just now. This is a retcon, pure and simple. So again, they're straight up lying to the community, and they're even blocking people over calling them out for this. I haven't been yet, but it's only been an hour, so give it some time. But quite a few people have been blocked by the Warhammer official Twitter account, mostly because of criticizing the updates to the rules, but some people have also been blocked for doing what I'm doing, calling them out and saying, hey, you're lying. Like, you're straight up lying to us. Like, it's been very interesting watching this unfold. Because, again, they skipped step 1 and step 2. They normally would deny or goalpost shift, but then no, they went straight to gaslighting and lying. Like, blatantly. And, of course, the response has been about what you'd expect. A lot of people have been calling them out. A lot of people have been shitting down their throat. And a lot of people have been acquiescing. And the plastic crack addicts, the people who can't live without 40K, despite any personal principles or interest they might have in it, they have sunk cost fallacy. You got the normal responses. But it's been interesting. It's been very interesting watching GW blatantly lying. And the fun fact is that they haven't only said this once. They've said this in response to multiple people asking this question. It's a copy and paste. They literally are saying the exact same thing to everybody who asked this question. Why did you nerf the Custodians, and why are there female Custodians? Everyone who asked female Custodians, this copy and paste response is directly put in reply to your questioning tweet. So again, they're keeping up a wall here of, I can't call it a defense, because it's not really a defense. They're just saying, well, we don't give a shit about our own lore. We don't give a shit about our own established stuff. We don't give a shit what you feel or how you think, or what any of our customers are feeling right now. So, fuck you. They were always there. How dare you not notice the thing we never mentioned, referenced, or added, or even denoted was there? And right here in just 8th edition, 9th edition codexes, it was said in them, it is known that all custodies, keep in mind that all-encompassing word, fully encompassing something, the totality of something, that all custodians begin their lives as infant sons. Sons. That is very specific gendered language. I have never once in my life heard sons used to reference daughters. Not once. So, blatantly, they're lying. In prior editions, they made it quite clear that all the custodians were male. Magically, they're not now, and I think it's pretty clear the reasons. Political pandering and virtue signaling. Now, there's also been an interesting response to me personally during all this, because of my calls to boycott GW's nonsense and to walk away from 40k if you have any level of self-respect as a member of this community and as a fan of the existing lore. And Reddit decided to respond to my video indirectly. They don't directly mention my channel name or me in this, very conveniently, but they showcase an image of me in my comment section. It'll load here. Yeah, they showcase this and block out all the names and the mentions of everybody. And, well, I'll go through it right now with you. I'll go through their entire post right now. It's very entertaining. We have to be better than this.
Look, I don't know exactly. I don't exactly even know what to say anymore, but I'ma say it anyways, we have to be better. I first got into the hobby back in 2004, but my first brush with it was in 1999.
Congratulations.
I find some guy's Geosite's website that was a gallery of his Dark Eldar and little bits of lore he'd made up for the models. Characters and names, and the whole thing. I was about 9 years old.
Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? It has nothing to do with the topic, but go ahead.
I was hooked. Then, like most 9-year-olds, I suppose I quickly got distracted. LOL. But a few years later, when I saw it again, I got back into it with a fury, sorry, and I wouldn't have done so without the initial instance. I wasn't
get-kept. Oh, he meant to say gate-kept.
I wasn't gate-kept out for being a child.
Why would you be? Why would anyone gatekeep someone out on the basis of this? Now, keep in mind, throughout this post, they're referring to gatekeeping as if it's like this wholesale game where, everyone is prevented out. They don't have... There's a lot of intellectual dishonesty with this post because they pretend gatekeeping just means, keeping everybody out. You know, it's closing the gates to all. It's not a matter of filtering or moderating or policing who comes in and out. No, they act like gatekeeping translates to no one's allowed in, everyone's locked out. That's not how it works. And no one in my community or in any of my videos, including me, has ever made the suggestion or hinted to the idea that when we refer to gatekeeping, we're talking about keeping unanimously everybody out. That's never been said. That's never been suggested. That's never even remotely been hinted at. But this person acts like not only is that our perspective, or my perspective, but they run with it in this very totalitarian version of what gatekeeping is.
I was mentored. I got to become a part of a hobby and community that has been such a huge part of my life for 20 years now. And I want other people to be able to enjoy it.
So do I, and I want them to be able to enjoy what I enjoyed about it. I want them to be able to enter the hobby and actually experience the hobby that I love. Not a molested, violated version of it that's been completely turned inside out and graped over and over again by a political ideology. I want people to enjoy 40k, not a joke of what 40k is to become.
You're upset about female custodians. You're entitled to feel that way.
I'm entitled to be right to be upset about it, yes. And you're entitled to be wrong.
You don't like the move away from Grimdark.
No, and I think if you're a real 40k fan, you wouldn't be. If you are totally fine with them stepping away from Grimdark, then you never were a fan of what 40k was, or truly is in its essence.
You don't want to play anymore. You're entitled to make that choice.
I do want to keep playing. I'm just not going to keep playing new editions. I'm happy to play everything from 10th edition prior. 10th edition is my least favorite edition, so I probably won't play that very often, except for people out there who, in my local community, that like to play it and haven't really played prior editions. But I'm going to be focusing and mainly playing with my friends 7th edition and 6th edition. Those are 7th edition is my favorite edition, lore-wise as well as game-wise, so I'm happy to keep playing that. And I'll probably keep playing the Horus Heresy tabletop until they eventually come around to bungle that as well, and then I'll just stick to 1st edition Horus Heresy. Hopeful 1st edition of the revamp of Horus Heresy, I should say. But hopefully that all the way through can be secured, but we'll see.
But the idea that gatekeeping people away from this hobby is a good thing is completely mad.
Why? Why is it completely mad? Are you telling me that if a bouncer at a club sees someone approaching to enter the club with a cocktail with a rag hanging out of it and a lighter, that they shouldn't go, whoa, 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 stay back, stay out? By your mentality, they should be just let on in. Doesn't matter. It's a new person. You can't at all police it. You can't at all say no, 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 based on any kind of clear intent to violate the space that they're entering. No, 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 no. You're mad for doing that. You're crazy. How dare you want to secure something you love and don't want destroyed? I've had this all wrong my whole life. My God.
This hobby needs new players.
Sure, I agree. And it'd be great to have new players that have a genuine interest in the hobby as it exists and have a genuine interest in the core identity of it and the lore. But even if they're only interested in the tabletop, at the very least, you know, they're always welcome, of course. But then they can't come and rant at me about the lore that they don't know anything about.
From a business perspective and from a hobbyist perspective,
I agree.
New people will have new ideas, new painting styles and techniques, new lore and fluff, and we should be embracing it.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Part of that I could agree with. New people have new ideas. That's fine. Fanfics, if you want to like have, you know, your own little inclusions there. If you want to paint your minis in a brand new style, again, fanfic, homebrew some chapters, perfectly fine. Love to have those new ideas. New painting styles, of course. Who wouldn't be bothered by that? And techniques, absolutely. Love it. New lore and fluff. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Depends what you mean by new lore. Because, you know, a few years ago, if someone said, hey, like, you know, people encouraging new lore, I would be like, hell yeah, let's get some more lore. Let's get more lore for Sisters of Silence. Let's get some more lore for Sisters of Battle. They're really underrepresented. They really don't have enough models on the tabletop. They really aren't shown enough love. And thankfully, Sisters of Battle really got a revamp for a while there. So hopefully, we're going to see more of that for Sisters of Silence. Oh, wait! They're being completely devalued by female custodes. So now when I hear people say new lore and fluff, I know that to mean retconning the existing lore and completely changing pillars of the lore for the benefit and catering to a political ideology and to the mythical representation, which is bullshit. Because representation in and of itself is sexist, racist, and discriminatory against sexual preference. Because all of it is based on just those three things. It's a judgment call based on someone's race or their sexual preference or their gender. Ever heard the term white cis male said with disdain? That's because they hate that representation. But all other forms of representation are encouraged. But again, it's an entire judgment call and an obsession built around race, gender, and sex. All three of those things being all they care about. And therefore they are discriminating on the basis of race, sex, and gender. So whenever I hear representation, I hear someone admitting that they are a racist, a sexist, and someone who discriminates based on gender identity. It does, like, those words don't mean what you think they mean, especially in practice.
If you want your chapter to be a bunch of genocidal fanatics who worship the God Emperor and truly embrace the Grimdark, then you are totally free to do that.
Correct, and I would be lore friendly to do so.
Don't be a jerk to someone who wants to tell a different story.
I won't be, as long as they understand that the story they want to tell is not canon. Mine's not any more canon, don't get me wrong. We're allowed to all homebrew our own stuff, and it stays constricted to us. But we can't therefore expect everyone else to accept our headcanon and our canon as just that, canon. That's not how it works.
Keeping out people won't stop the game from changing.
True, but it will keep it from changing in a negative direction. Unfortunately, we failed to gatekeep correctly, so it's changing in a political direction. Not a direction that actually benefits the setting, not a direction that actually adds to the universe or to the hobby space, not in a direction that actually is beneficial whatsoever, just in one that is divisive and causing a huge ruckus for no good reason. Except for political pandering points, which, again, I stand by. No good reason.
It's already changed and it will come to do so. It's a radically different universe from where it was when I first started, and that's good.
Depending. A lot of things have not been a good change or alteration. Urda being a prime example, or Astartes. Both horrifically bad examples that completely destroyed massive chunks of the lore, and most of the community universally agree just not to reference them as if they exist, because they don't in most of our headcanons. So, no. To this statement that change is good inherently is ridiculous. If you want to talk about something that's mad, that's mad. Because it completely takes away any nuance. Change is good if it is beneficial. Change is good if it caters to the majority of a fan base, not the minority. Change is good in those circumstances. Change is bad when it is a spit in the face to the majority. Change is bad when it is a fundamental change for no good reason, except for outside forces of the hobby, not within. That is negative change, and that is what is happening with female Custodes, and eventually female Astartes.
A final note that goes a bit beyond Warhammer, but some people seem to think that 40k getting a little bit brighter is a bad thing.
It is. Because it's becoming something that's not 40k.
That's an opinion you're totally entitled to.
Totally entitled to and correct to have.
But please move past the mindset that Grim and Dark is more true or realistic.
I don't think it's more true or realistic. That's not an argument I've made, and it's not an argument I don't think anyone else has made. It's not about whether it's realistic or not. In fact, and especially in 40k's terms, it's unrealistic as all hell. With like the level, well, it's becoming more realistic. But as far as right now goes, it's not very realistic. It's over the top, and it's so over the top that it comes back around to almost being comedic. And that's kind of the fun of it. That's the joy of it. Everything is so evil and fucked up that you could just have fun with what flavor of evil you want. If you take away that, though, and you start making good guys and bad guys, then you start drawing lines in the sand within the community. Especially in a hobby that pre-established itself as everyone's evil, so take your pick. Which flavor do you want? Keep in mind, every faction is evil to the other factions, but each faction is good to themselves. Ish. Overarchingly, not specifically. The Imperium is really bad to itself in terms of how it treats its citizens, but it does that due to the necessity of surviving in a universe full of things like orcs, tyrannids, and other things, like chaos.
People have done every horrible thing that humanity has thought of, but they have also done everything amazing that has been thought of.
What?
Don't mistake darkness for depth.
I don't, but in the case of how 40k has done it, there has been actually quite a bit of depth in that regard.
Don't be a gatekeeper, be a gate opener.
How did you translate from one thing completely unrelated to the other? Like there's talking about like the themes of darkness and grim darkness and stuff, and then talking about gatekeeping. They're completely disconnected. But my most charitable interpretation of this post is that was just a miss. Like it was a huge disconnect moment where you were referencing the prior topic as you were finishing off the second one. That's my guess.
Don't be a gatekeeper, be a gate opener.
I will be a gate opener to those that I think are actually fans and actually want 40k, not go merry-go-land with 40k characters.
Mentor people. Show them what you love about the Grimdark.
I do. Every day. Constantly.
More people isn't a bad thing or a good thing.
Again, gatekeeping is how you filter whether that is a good thing or a bad thing. If you don't gatekeep, then it's pretty much just going to be a bad thing. Because for all the good people you're going to get who are genuine fans who actually have a genuine interest, you're going to get just as many, if not more, who are coming in with preconceived notions that they want to establish within the hobby. They want to gentrify it. They want to dictate to it. They aren't coming in because they're a fan that likes what is there. They're someone who's coming in to re-educate all the rest of us and like insulting the rest of us for daring to love it for what it was, and then demanding it be changed to cater to their minority perspective and identity. That's why we gatekeep. If you gatekeep, then more people is a good thing. If you don't gatekeep, more people is a bad thing.
It's just a thing.
No.
What matters is what you do with it. We're stewards and ambassadors. Act like it.
Go fuck yourself. And get off your high and mighty ass. Please and thank you. This entire post, as much as you wanted to be fluffy about it, at the end of the day, you are completely misrepresenting my and everyone else on my side of things perspective. And you're doing so intentionally. Intellectual dishonesty at its finest. Gatekeeping is not a wholesome game where you just close the gates and that's it and you don't let anybody in. It's a filter system. It's like a bouncer at a nightclub. You have to filter in a certain level of people, and you got to keep your eye out for the baddies, the people who want to come in and cause trouble, that are coming in with malicious intent, and you want to prevent them from entering. That is the point of gatekeeping. That's the point of moderation. That is a huge element that every hobby space and every physical space should have. It's called security. It's called protection. You're preventing a problem before it becomes one. And because we didn't gatekeep enough is why we currently have the problems that we do. It's why the community is so divisive, and it's why we have all the issues we're suffering right now. So for you saying, oh, we're stewards and ambassadors, act like it. I am. Correctly. I'm saying, welcome if you actually want 40k. If you don't, and you want to change it for your political ideology, go fuck yourself, and don't come back. Period. So anyway, that was Reddit being pissy and acting high and mighty against my video and completely misrepresenting my points and everyone else around me's points. So yeah, it's been interesting. I'm going to do another video on this, don't worry. But I'll end off this video by bringing this up. Games Workshop stocks over the last few hours. It's not looking good. Not looking good at all. Whew. What a dip. I wonder why that happened.